Hello everyone, my name is Thabisa and welcome to the Momentum Corporate Coffee Conversations, a platform where we have insightful conversations around money, finances, and financial success. Today with us, we have Ms. Thabisa Mkhwanazi, a marketing maverick and most recently the head of marketing at MultiChoice South Africa. Good day, Thabisa.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Unjani?
Unjani. It's incredible to hang with you, and thank you for that introduction.
Thank you. We're going to have amazing conversations today, and I want to kind of set this preamble so that we feel free. We're going to have conversations about money, about mistakes, about great decisions that were made about money and about success. But I want to start, not necessarily at the beginning, but I want to start currently.
Yeah.
I want you to take me through your career.
It's been a colorful career. It's one I'm incredibly pleased with. I can say that and say I've been blessed, but also pleased with the journey that I've gone on. Started off in KZN, actually in Durban. As a grad, I moved into the marketing space. I've had the fortune of managing some of the top brands, both locally and globally. I've done a stint abroad, living and working in Asia. That colored my perspective on money quite differently, and it gave me exposure to different things. And then kind of came back into the country, worked again on some of the most iconic brands. And like you said, the most recent one that I had the privilege of leading was the MultiChoice DSTV brand.
Now, I think what's really interesting, and I want to kind of start with, is sort of like that juxtaposition of the two worlds of knowing money habits of outside of South Africa and South Africa, and how those have shaped your view of money.
So I'm going to take it back a little bit for you, Thabisa. And so I was born in the Eastern Cape. I was born in a homeland which really shaped a lot of my perspective on money. Growing up in a space where agriculture was a big thing, you know, we ate from the soil, animals were still an important part of wealth and what wealth looked like. However, you also had lots of entrepreneurs. You then, you know, were growing up in a context of a space where education was the most esteemed thing.
Yes.
You know, it's a thing that parents around me were spending money on. It's a thing my parents sacrificed and spent money on. So coming off that, and, you know, so I think I kind of went into working with that perspective of you can spend lots of money on education. That's a thing you spend money on, get yourself a really good education, and then the rest will follow. You know, money didn't really have a meaning beyond freedom for me. You know, I would have my own place, my own car, my own way, like Zabalit, Zabarait. And really that was what money meant. It meant work. The two concepts for me, I couldn't separate work from money.
Yes. Take me through those decisions around big money decisions where that first paycheck arrives, right? And what did that feel like? And that freedom that you say, what that money unlocks. And I want you to take me through the good and the bad decisions that you took around money at that time.
So at the time, I lived at home, which shaped a lot of decisions because I didn't have to pay for a place. My core priority in the beginning was, okay, I need clothing for work because I lived in my netball gear pretty much through university. And so I needed, as Mama said, you know, you need to look like a grown-up now. And so when I received my first offer, I had no framework to review that offer.
Or understand it.
I had no framework of what do you look for in an offer and what don't you. Something actually a former CEO said to me probably about 7 years ago. And he said to me, Tabs, life is not school, you get to cheat. And I wish I'd known that earlier when it comes to money. And so mistake number one I made was not to look across me, was not to cheat. It was not to call, you know, people who were ahead of me, who were already in corporate and say, what do you know now that you would have asked for earlier? What are you looking for? I saw the zeros and I was like, we are good.
We're good here.
You know, I didn't look at any employment benefits. I didn't look at anything about how much was being contributed to my pensions. All I wanted was medical aid, tick, zeros, tick, and then I'm
good.
And again, I think I went in, like most people do, believing they're going to be fair. I mean, this is an institution that's been around for over 100 years. And again, I think it comes from that upbringing, you know, you can't, don't talk about money. Money is a thing we don't speak about.
I think it's a case of you trusting the organization that they would bring you in and offer you what is best for you. I want to talk about those first big purchases. And I want to talk about how you got to that decision. So whether that was the car, whether that was
the car first.
So how was that first big purchase?
First big purchase was the car.
Yes.
That was, and again, I would do it differently now. I think I engaged the decision from a functional perspective.
Yes.
From a money perspective, the thing that really also swayed me a lot was the organization I worked for at the time. They'd negotiated preferential rates with VW at the time. And so, again, someone in the building said to me, you do know if you go here with this and that,
you'll get for your buck.
Yeah, you'll get more for your buck. And I was like, oh, okay. My husband then came along, and he was a boyfriend at the time, and said to me, just pay a little bit extra, even if it's $100 a month.
Yeah.
Just pay a little bit extra. And I wish I'd heeded that advice a lot sooner, because now I understand how that little bit extra every month makes a huge difference, right? I was excited, to be honest, when they approved my application. I was like, yo, we are within, right? I literally was like, I didn't mind what interest rate they were giving me at. I didn't shop around and go, okay, let me chat to this bank and that bank and see how to finance it. I had two things on my mind. Would it get approved? Because I understood credit bureau. I'd grown up, around debt and repossessions, and I understood that language. And so two priorities on my mind were, am I going to get approved? Cross my fingers, pray. Yes, Lord. Jesus has said, yes, let's go. And then two was, hold on to this car.
Yes.
That was probably not a lot of engagement, not the kind of engagement I would do now to make a purchase of that value. Yeah.
You're a career woman who's worked for many organizations. And I want to understand your first real understanding of employee benefits, where you realized, oh, this is an important part of a package that a company gives you. That realization, obviously hindsight is 20/20 vision, where you started going, but back there I wasn't getting as much here in terms of benefit, and how that made you feel as an employee and your value to the company.
Here's the thing, I've worked for some incredible organizations that are incredibly people focused, with great employee benefits. And I think as a standard and as a baseline, as employees, we often don't tap into everything that exists in the ecosystem for us within that space. And so I think the focus a lot of the times is we don't put value on the employee benefits. We don't quite have the same texture to them.
It's not tangible
at the time. It's not tangible at the time, right? And you only see it, it's one of those things that pay off later. And so like I'm saying, the very first organization I worked for had the car benefit, because they understood they brought in a lot of graduates into the organization, and all of that. And so we would have to buy cars. There was an option to get a loan from the business to fund your transfer costs when you buy a house.
Wow.
Again, an understanding of, we've got a lot of young people who will make their first home purchase. What happens though is once you have a certain benefit, it feels like a part of your package. And so if you've had medical aid, if you're going to another place, you're going, okay, give me what I've got already.
Yes, match this.
Yes. If you have, and so to your point around it transitions and it changes. So if you've never had a share offers as part of your package, you're not going to ask for share offers. Whether you stay in the same organization or you move from one organization to another, and then you get a different package, you then start to engage and realize, oh, there's other things. In general, though, Thabisa, I think we don't quite grasp what is out there. I think in our excitement of it's my dream job, I've got the job, I'm joining this organization. But actually, for me, at the heart of employee benefits, I always say it this way. I think it really simply is the things that make you doing work and life come together.
Wow.
That's what employee benefits are. They make me being at work and me having a life. They bridge the gap and bring those two together. And so for me, quite simply, great employee benefits, and what I would say look for when you're looking at your employee benefits is, does this help me bring my life and work together and make it work better, Yes. And I think every organization has its unique DNA, and its employee benefits are built around that uniqueness. If you look at Momentum has its DNA. They are who they are. They're in financial services. So their perspective and their filter on life and how to bring life and work together will come from that.
You speak a lot about people that help you cheat.
Yeah.
And some of those people are senior managers, etc., but some of those people are advisors. So I want you to kind of give us a picture about how financial advisors have played a role in your life and have shaped some of the money attitudes that you've picked up, and some that you've literally gone, okay, I need to stop that.
By nature and historically in our country, financial advisors have been sell versus advise and help me cheat.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of the engagements I would have in the beginning were never it never felt like these people are
Wasn't
helping me
fulfilling.
cheat. What was very helpful for me is my husband is in the financial services space, more on the wealth and investment side of things, but kind of really educated me. I think often people don't talk about that enough around marriage, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest things because, again, you've been taught, like,
Yes.
finding the right financial advisor is really important. Like you would shop around for everything else. Don't go with the first person who comes to your door.
So you've led me so nicely into a conversation around estate planning, wills, trusts. I want to go there. When was the time where you said, okay, we need to now look at that. We need to look at the estate, what we've worked for now up until this point, and see how we handle that.
The pandemic accelerated that for a lot of people. And so, unfortunately, my husband and I got COVID together. That was very sobering for both of us because I think as much as you engage estate planning and stuff, you do it as a responsible citizen, but not meaningfully.
You're not engaged in it.
No, you're not fully, you're not really going, okay, this is how I'm planning. And then, but also you're not using it to identify gaps. I think when you change your perspective on engaging, the future for me and looking at it less around what I'm leaving for people after I'm here, but more around how does it shape how I live today? We always joke around and say we want to be remembered, as the grandma and grandpa who started the journey of being debt-free. That, again, is part of estate planning, right? And so I think sometimes we can focus on policies and products as a planning versus really engaging the topic of what is the legacy that you want to leave behind.
Yes.
And so for us, for example, being debt-free is a big thing for us. It's something we want to gift to future generations. It's something where we would love to be the model of living out our calling, living out our passion, living and thriving.
I want you to maybe share something that you believe that everybody should know around money and how that could lead to their financial success.
So I'll probably say the things I wish I had known, because there's definitely more that I know I'm still going to look back and think, oh man, I wish I'd known that. The advice I'd give to people is this: money has meaning. Money comes with anxiety. Money reflects success. Money comes with, so it carries meaning.
Wow.
Define your meaning, what money means to you. The second one is the one I said right up front, cheat. Even in my career, I have had the most incredible cheat squad. Cheat with everybody, when you're around the braai, when you meet new people. The third piece around it for me is one that I'm still working on, is not to be afraid of money. I think in our overcorrecting sometimes, we have a fear of abundance. I think we were raised by people who taught us how to live when things aren't enough.
Wow, what an amazing conversation. And you gave us nuggets, you gave us tangible ways that we could change and shift our thinking around money and kind of get to start taking those steps towards financial success. And I must thank you for that. At the end of the day, you've been an amazing guest and you've shared so much, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
And with that, we've come to the end of our Momentum Corporate Coffee conversation with Usis Thabisa Mkhwanazi. And we want you to engage with us. Stay on our social pages, share your experiences, share the advice that you received that set you on your way to your financial success. Thank you.